The Bridgerton family is at the very core of Netflix's most beloved period drama. Usually, it's difficult to keep up with a strong roster of characters, but somehow with the Bridgerton family, it's quite the opposite. With every season, a new member is added in this influential family, and still, the craze around them never seems to fade. Every member of this tightly knit family is equally quirky and goal-oriented, and with season 3 of Bridgerton just knocking at our doors, I thought it was a good time to look back into the diamond family of this series. If you just started watching this show, just know that it might take a moment to understand the ever-growing Bridgerton family tree, because let's face it, they're the Kardashians of this world. So before anyone else gets added to the mix, let's talk about every member from this family. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Edmund Bridgerton. Season 1 of the show began as the Bridgerton family was still reeling from the sudden death of their family's patriarch. Edmund Bridgerton was the 8th Viscount, and from what we can gather through all his flashback appearances, he was a good man. During the Regency era, marriages were often treated more like business deals. However, Edmund Bridgerton and Violet Ledger were genuinely passionate about one another. They got married when Edmund was only 20 and Violet was 18. Because money and status were never a major concern for them, both were eager to build a large and loving family together. Sadly, one day while he was out hunting with his eldest son, Edmund was gathering hyacinths for his pregnant wife. This is how he was stung by a bee and had an allergic reaction that tragically led to his death shortly afterward. This event had a deep impact on Anthony, as he had to step into the role of Viscount at a very young age. Edmund never even got a chance to meet his youngest child, Hyacinth, who was born after his passing. In fact, I remember that Gregory, his youngest son, had once mentioned how he doesn't have any memory of his father. Nonetheless, Edmund has always been described as a soft and gentle man with a kind heart. Violet Bridgerton. The Dowager Viscountess Bridgerton was the daughter of Lord and Lady Ledger. Her relationship with her mother was a bit challenging, but she had a strong bond with her father, who affectionately called her Brains, and would craft her birthday hats for her special day, something she very fondly holds dear. All her life, Violet was deeply in love with Edmund and went on to have 8 children with him. Just like her father did for her, Violet would make birthday hats for Edmund and her children every year. After Edmund's sudden passing in 1803, she was devastated and had a very difficult delivery with Hyacinth. Her grief ran so deep that she wished to die during childbirth so she could join her husband. Violet felt that Edmund's presence had breathed air into her life, and without him, she was always gasping for breath. But as time passed, Violet picked herself up and immersed herself in her children's life. She began to focus on her daughter's debut into high society and tried her best to find suitable matches for all her children, while also teaching them to prioritize love over anything else. When Bridgerton began, Violet was 47 years old and was shown to exude warmth, wisdom, and love, while treating everyone with exceptional kindness and respect. However, her compassion shouldn't be mistaken for weakness, as she seemed to be quite fierce when it comes to protecting her family. Viscount Anthony Bridgerton. Season 2 of the show was all about the current Viscount finding his one true love. As the firstborn son of the Bridgerton family, Anthony had to pick up the slack of his father's death at the tender age of 18. He watched his father die within seconds and saw his mother slowly losing herself to grief, which forced Anthony to look after the Bridgerton family household as the 9th Viscount of the family. In Season 1, he was 29 years old when he assumed the responsibility of finding the perfect match for his sister Daphne. Being a protective brother, he often scared Daphne by pointing out different flaws of her potential matches, and constantly believed no man is good enough for his sister. As the burden of his title wore heavily on him, Anthony understood how his choices reflected deeply on his entire family. So, even though he was having a secret affair with Sienna Rosso and was deeply in love with her, Anthony had to end it because this young woman did not come from the right social standing, which would deem her as worthy to become the Viscountess. In Season 2, Violet began pressuring her son to find a suitable partner who would help him manage the Bridgerton estate, and that's exactly how he came across Edwina Sharma, the diamond of the season. Although Edwina perfectly ticked all the boxes of qualities he was looking for in his wife, soon Anthony's battle with his heart began as he found himself falling for Edwina's older sister, Kate. Of course, after a few overly dramatic and juicy encounters, Anthony ended up marrying Kate. In fact, she's apparently going to be pregnant in Season 3, which would allow the next diamond of the season to have her limelight. Viscountess Kate Sharma. Miss Kate Sharma gave Eloise a run for her money with her own stubbornness, but there's a reason behind her attitude towards society. Both of her parents have passed away, and despite being her father's daughter from his first marriage, Lady Mary, his second wife treated Kate as her own daughter. Kate spent her early years in India before coming to England to assist in marrying off her younger sister Edwina, and played a huge role in shaping her sister into a refined young lady. Although she was 26 years old, Kate was focused on Edwina's prospects rather than her own marital ambitions. Unfortunately, when Edwina's match with Anthony was confirmed, it stirred up a lot of trouble for her, as she too had developed feelings for him. Although she tries her best to hide them throughout the series, we see Kate and Anthony trying to survive the will they won't they game as they grapple with their own feelings, while prioritizing their duty and Edwina's happiness. This tension builds up until it reaches a climax on Edwina and Anthony's wedding day, when the former finally figures out the kind of sacrifice her sister was about to make. After having a set of hard conversations and shedding a bucket of tears, Edwina handles the situation with utmost maturity, by wishing for her sister's genuine happiness above all else. Eventually, Kate bravely expresses her love for the Viscount, who proposes for her hand in marriage. Even if their wedding takes place off-screen, we do catch a glimpse of the radiant newlyweds, brimming with happiness before the credits roll on the second season. Benedict Bridgerton. At 27 years old, Benedict Bridgerton was a celebrated artist, with his works displayed in prominent art museums and galleries. Being the second Bridgerton son, he believes the rest of the siblings have it better than Anthony, who tries his best to shield them from any intense family expectations. This allows Benedict the freedom to indulge in his passion for the arts, without constantly worrying about family obligations. But he craves more than the glittering social gatherings that fill his evenings. Benedict is a sensitive and charming soul, who dreams of transforming his artistic passion into a meaningful career. So in order to pursue this dream, Benedict starts exploring opportunities beyond the confines of high society, seeking a path that aligns with his true passions. Now, Benedict has always dreamt of attending art school and dedicating himself fully to his craft. In Season 2, he secured a place at a prestigious art institute, albeit later realizing that his older brother's generous donation played a role in his acceptance. Benedict's time at the institute exposed him to the challenges and complexities of an artist's life, showing that even in the world of art, perfection is elusive. Throughout the 2 seasons of Bridgerton, Benedict was seen to have one fling with a model named Tessa, but that was just a one-night stand. The juiciest part of his character yet was when he had a threesome with a famous French dressmaker named Genevieve Delacroix. Although they met again, their relationship never really progressed much. Colin Bridgerton. Colin is third among the Bridgerton siblings and enjoys a rare freedom of pursuing his desires without any immediate responsibilities. During the 1813 social season kickoff, Colin accompanied his family to Daphne's season debut, which was at the Danbury Ball. Here, Colin's attention was caught by Marina, who was living with the Featheringtons till she found herself a suitor. Without having a proper idea of who she was, Colin was soon smitten by her and began courting Marina. Following Daphne and Simon's wedding at the reception, Marina pretended to faint in order to draw Colin into a secluded library, where she tried to kiss him. However, Colin was mindful of preserving her honor and refused to reciprocate. When Marina was about to leave, he surprised her by proposing for marriage. Later, Colin publicly announced his engagement, but things quickly turned sour when Anthony criticized his decision, and his mother expressed how Colin was too young to marry. Meanwhile, Penelope Featherington, who's Colin's longtime friend and is obnoxiously in love with him, starts digging dirt out from Marina's past. Nonetheless, Colin dismissed Penelope's concerns and made plans to marry Marina immediately in Scotland. However, Lady Whistledown's scandalous report of Marina's pregnancy ended their engagement abruptly. Despite the scandal, Colin sought to speak with Marina privately, but was left heartbroken when she took responsibility for Lady Whistledown's claims. Vowing to never see her again, Colin left for a global adventure, allowing himself to explore different cultures and natural wonders. Colin's travels shaped him into a well-rounded and confident man, who's able to discuss worldly topics with ease. Season 3 is going to put Colin in the center of the narrative, as we see him falling for the same Penelope he had so eagerly friend-zoned in the past 2 seasons. Daphne Bridgerton. Daphne Bridgerton is now Daphne Basset, given that she already got hitched in Season 1. She's the eldest daughter and 4th child in the Bridgerton family, and as the firstborn girl, she carries the weight of upholding the family's reputation and setting an example of a proper lady from a respectable home. At just 21 years old, Daphne made her debut in society as the Queen's Diamond of the season, which of course attracted numerous suitors at her doorstep, vying for her hand in marriage. Daphne and Simon initially pretended to be courting, so all the debutantes would stay away from Simon, and the false courtship would make Daphne more desirable for other men. But gradually they ended up falling for each other, and well, after a lot of drama that even threatened Daphne's reputation and led Anthony to challenge Simon to a duel, the duo eventually got married. As the Duchess of Hastings, her forced union with Simon soon blossomed into genuine affection over time. In the second season, Daphne and Simon appeared to have reconciled after some challenging but honest discussions, as they joyfully embraced their new role as parents to their baby boy August. With her newfound experience, Daphne now felt confident in sharing her opinions, especially when it came to Anthony's own journey to find a new life partner. Simon Basset. Every romance show loves to play with the idea of the forbidden love trope, but things get inherently spicier when the love interest is the brother's best friend, who fits the bad boy sequence like a glove. In Bridgerton, the Duke of Hastings, Simon Basset, arrives in town right after his best friend's younger sister makes her debut to society. Even though he has no interest in marrying anyone, it seems the stars were always aligned in favor of this couple, whose fateful connection seemed inevitable, thus setting the stage for scandalous gossip long before their romance even began. At the start of Season 1, Simon is 29 years old, just like his friend Anthony Bridgerton. Despite the 8-year age gap between him and Daphne, their courtship raises no eyebrows. However, after their marriage, Simon reveals that he cannot have children. But soon Daphne discovers that this situation isn't so much about being unable to have children, but rather about not wanting to. With patience and understanding, Daphne helps Simon realize that he's capable of being a loving and nurturing father, unlike the man who neglected him. Eventually, they welcome a baby boy into their lives, and if the Netflix series follows the books, more little Bassets could be on the horizon. Although I doubt if we will see Simon again on screen, even then their romance is what set the standard for Bridgerton worldwide. Eloise Bridgerton. Eloise is very literally the textbook definition of a middle child. She's rebellious, outspoken, and fiercely independent. At 17 years old, she's determined not to conform to societal expectations of becoming solely a wife or mother, and dreams of pursuing her studies, while traveling and exploring all that life has to offer. However, Violet has different ideas about what her future should look like. During the first season of Bridgerton, Eloise was relieved that her mother's focus is mainly on Daphne's matters, giving her the freedom to investigate the mystery of Lady Whistledown's true identity. However, in the second season, Eloise was forced to make her own social debut, and was nauseated by the thought of giving into the societal norms expected of educated women. Luckily, Violet's attention shifted back to Anthony, when he was on a mission to find a bride for himself, thus momentarily alleviating pressure on Eloise. In Season 2, Eloise went all out on her quest to track down Lady Whistledown, and that's exactly how she met Theo Sharp, who worked at the same printing press that Whistledown submitted her pamphlets in. Soon she got wrapped up in the radical women's rights movement, and bonded with Theo over their shared passion for books, and a mutual desire to uncover Lady Whistledown's identity. Their friendship soon turned into something more, but it was never going to work, as Theo belonged to a lower social background, unlike Eloise. After Lady Whistledown outed her for being associated with political radicals, she had to break off the relationship, as it would only put them both in danger. At the end of Season 2, Eloise found out about Penelope being the real Lady Whistledown, and accused her of betraying their friendship just to earn money. I think a lot of Season 3 will be about Eloise plotting to reveal Penelope's true face in the open, which will be pretty fun to watch. Francesca Bridgerton. Although Francesca Bridgerton is quite reserved, she does have a rather witty sense of humor. In 1813, she joined her family for Daphne's debut, accompanying them while Daphne was presented to the Queen. Shortly after this event, Francesca left for her Aunt Winnie's to hone her skills in playing the piano. She remained mostly absent from London during the first season, and later returned in the second season to obsess over her new nephew. However, she was barely seen as the season progressed. Given she's about to turn 18 in the upcoming season, I believe we can expect the show to give her a more developed presence that could possibly include her debut into society. Gregory Bridgerton. This Bridgerton son is barely 12 and does not remember much of his late father. Given that he is a child, he's barely seen in the spotlight and spends most of his time playing with his little sister in the background. Gregory is a curious child with a knack for pranking everyone, just like his father did. Although he loves all his siblings, he mostly bonds with Hyacinth and only attends the social events his mother or Anthony thinks are fit for him. Hyacinth Bridgerton. As the youngest child of the Bridgerton family, Hyacinth is only 10 years old and was not even born when her father unexpectedly passed away. She was named Hyacinth because her father was picking hyacinths from Aubrey Hall's garden for her mother before he died. How tragically romantic is that? Anyway, she does not have much of a role in the Bridgerton setting as of yet, and spends most of her time playing with Gregory, while fawning over the idea of following her sister's footsteps in the entire society debut fiasco. So, that's the elaborate tree of the Bridgerton family. Please let us know about your thoughts on the upcoming season, and what you think of the tables turning as Colin pines for Penelope's attention. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!